right, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today we're looking at something that affects literally every single one of us, protecting our environment and recognizing our shared responsibility for a sustainable future. We are going to move from the stark realities of our world's current state to some empowering, highly actionable solutions that governments, corporations, and you and I can put into practice today. Let's get right into it. Here is the roadmap for today. We're going to start with our beautiful, fragile planet, then look at the urgent environmental crisis, followed by powering and protecting tomorrow. After that, we'll check out a blueprint for global solutions, test your environmental knowledge, and finally wrap up with our shared responsibility.
Okay, section 1, our beautiful, fragile planet. Let's really understand the foundation of our world here.
You know, it's so easy to just think of the environment as some external backdrop, right? Like trees and oceans over there, separate from us. But it's actually this wildly sensitive, interconnected web. When we talk about biodiversity, we are literally talking about our own planetary life support system. If you knock out one piece of that massive puzzle, the ripple effects directly hit our global well-being and ultimately our own survival.
Moving on to section 2, the urgent environmental crisis. Time to face these challenges head-on.
And look, the threats we are facing right now, they're compounding. We aren't just dealing with climate change as some vague, overarching concept. It's triggering real, localized devastation. We're talking massive deforestation, severe air and water pollution, and rapid desertification. Toss in melting glaciers and habitat destruction, and you've got a domino effect leading straight to catastrophic biodiversity loss. It is a lot to take in, for sure, but wrapping our heads around how interconnected these threats are is the absolute first step to fixing them. Just look at these rapid upward trends for a second. The data here is undeniable. We're seeing steep spikes in CO2 emissions and rising global temperatures, and they're running right alongside an absolute explosion in ocean-clogging plastic waste. This isn't just anecdotal anymore. The numbers show a massive, clear acceleration. It paints a pretty stark picture, right? It really shows why business as usual is just completely off the table for our planet's health. So, let's pivot to section 3, powering and protecting tomorrow. This is all about the transition to a sustainable world. Now, when you put our energy sources side by side, the path forward is actually incredibly optimistic. On the one hand, you've got traditional fossil fuels, which are actively driving up those greenhouse gas emissions and depleting finite resources. But on the other hand, the transition to renewables, things like solar, wind, hydro, geothermal, and biomass, that is our absolute best, most immediate strategy to slash global emissions and power the future responsibly. And right alongside that clean energy transition, we really have to look at the living world. Global conservation projects are proving right now that we can actively preserve marine ecosystems and actually reverse habitat destruction. By protecting endangered species, saving those fragile coral reefs, restoring crucial wetlands, and expanding our protected forests, we're actively securing the biodiversity that acts as our life support. It's literally nature's infrastructure. Which brings us to section 4, a blueprint for global solutions. Let's look at some actionable steps for everyone. Notice how this global cooperation is playing out in real time. If you look at the UN Sustainable Development Goals mapped against actual national initiatives, you see that huge, large-scale environmental innovation is already happening. I mean, countries and cities are proving every day that green urban planning, massive recycling rollouts, and clean energy transitions are completely doable. They're actually driving healthier, more sustainable societies right now. But, okay, on a practical, everyday level, this requires taking some very specific steps. Step 1, adopting circular economy practices. That basically means designing waste out of the system entirely. Step 2 is improving energy efficiency across the board in our homes and our industries. Step 3, shifting to eco-friendly, low-emission transport. And Step 4, implementing sustainable agriculture to protect our soil and water. Really, it's about completely rethinking how we consume. All right, section 5. Let's test your environmental knowledge with some surprising facts and stats. I want you to ask yourself this. When you look at the massive pollution crisis we were just talking about, how much of it do you think is tied directly to the plastics we use just once, maybe for a few minutes, and then throw away? 300 million. We are generating over 300 million tons of plastic waste every single year, and a huge chunk of that is single use. I mean, the sheer volume is just staggering. Seeing a number like that really grounds the conversation, doesn't it?
It highlights exactly why your individual habits, stuff like really robust recycling, better waste management, and drastically cutting down on single-use plastics, actually matters so much on a global scale. But hey, on the flip side of that pretty daunting statistic, here is an amazing did you know. Surprising scientific discoveries show that targeted conservation efforts, specifically things like dedicated tree plantation and aggressive water conservation, can actually regenerate local ecosystems incredibly fast. We have the very real ability to not just stop the damage, but actively reverse local pollution trends and heal these environments if we just apply the right strategies. And finally, Section 6, our shared responsibility for creating a greener tomorrow. It really all boils down to this one powerful idea. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. Framing sustainability as this profound duty to the kids who come next completely changes how you approach your daily life and the future of our ecosystems, doesn't it? So the ultimate takeaway here is that every single small action creates a greener tomorrow. Whether it's a local school launching a recycling program, you choosing eco-friendly transit, or some massive corporation shifting its supply chain to sustainable agriculture, all of it counts. Every bit of community participation adds up to that circular economy and sustainable world we mapped out earlier. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Based on the stark data, the clear blueprint, and all those incredible solutions we just explored in this explainer, what is one actionable step that you can take right now, today, to protect our shared environment? The blueprint is literally in our hands. The next step is